Hello everyone, I'm Gary Summers and welcome to the audio edition of Mind, Body, Soul. I have a wonderful guest and a good friend of mine today to talk about distance healing. Welcome Joan Dohey.
Hi Gary, how are you?
Excellent. So Joan, you were a school teacher for 29 years, but your work life didn't stop there. You've been busy since leaving the classroom.
I certainly have. So
you probably have the most modality training in the world.
Well, there's a few more that have more than me, and I could name them, and they're right here in Newfoundland too. But I became ill, which is why I had to leave teaching. I loved teaching, but I became really sick with chemical sensitivities, and the doctors did not know what to do with me. So I was kind of flummoxed. I'm a social butterfly who had absolutely no social life, and I had to stay home. And I thought, I can't live my life on the couch or in bed after I smelled somebody's aftershave. So what am I going to do about it? So I started to explore the natural healing world. And I found that right here in Newfoundland, there are all kinds of people who could help me. And everybody helped me a bit. You know, like I went to a homeopath, I went to a naturopath, I learned to meditate. I did hypnotherapy with you actually at one point, though I didn't listen to you and I should have. But anyway.
That's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. And, you know, I went to a holistic nutritionist, and through the years, I've become 99% better and developed an absolute fascination with healing. So, as a result, I've done a lot of training in different modalities, and I like to know my stuff. So, you know, anything that I learn in depth, and I can offer it to my clients now to help them out, because what somebody comes to see me about might not be what they actually need in the end. It might be something a bit deeper than, you know, their sore knee, or if they come with a sore knee and they want Bowen therapy, maybe some essential oils might help them, or, you know, there's so many ways to healing that I want people to know about, and yeah. I want to be able to help them with.
And that's what this audio version is all about, is to get people in touch with people like yourself, with other people who can give people alternatives rather than popping pills all the time. So throughout COVID, and we're still going through this, and people kind of have an issue with, you know, going into hospitals and going to see doctors. Distance healing. Talk about that for a moment, to let people know that this is also available.
Yes. Well, it's something that I've done through the years, but I kind of did it on the QT because, you know, it's a hard sell. But in the middle of all this, while I was sitting home, and I was really feeling a lot of anxiety because I knew that I had clients who needed help, and I knew there were people out there who were, you know, couldn't go to where they needed to get help. And right in the middle of it all, a newsletter came in from the American Bowen Academy, and they were offering a distance Bowen course. Now, anybody who does Bowen can do it by distance, but I'm all about the certification.
Sure.
And, you know, I wanted to do the course to see what I would learn, but also to have a qualification that allows me to do it. So I paid up, I did the course, and it was absolutely fascinating. It went far beyond what I knew to do previously.
Sure.
And I had to do case studies. So, and Bowen is not the only modality where you can do distance healing. So Reiki practitioners are trained to do distance healing. Rahani, distance healing.
Nadine Emberley
yes.
was on, and she talked about Reiki remotely, and
yes.
It was fascinating how she actually set that up. So anyway, continue.
Yeah. There's a lady, Betty Nolan, here in St. John's, has a bioscan machine. She can work remotely. She doesn't have to be with the person. And there are lots of others that, right off the top of my head, that's what I can think of. But there are people here, but sure, if you're doing distance healing, you don't even have to be here. And what I see is really important is with this isolation, we do need help. There are so many people who are feeling depression, they're feeling isolated, they're anxious because we're feeling everybody else's anxiety too. Well, if I can help somebody by providing them with a distance healing session, it makes me feel like I'm doing my part.
It's really about being open-minded, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's about opening yourself to the possibility that if you hear something from somebody, that they just may be able to make your life better, because we only know what we know.
Exactly. And it might not be for everybody. So, I know people who don't like to go to the chiropractor. I know people who don't like massage. They don't like to be touched. So they prefer Bowen therapy, or they prefer a different modality altogether. I know people that think that osteopaths are mad. But I go to an osteopath and I find, fantastic results. So what I'm saying to people is, just as you said, if you open your mind and you try different things, you will find something that will work for you. And distance healing might be that thing. Like, I think about people on the Labrador coast.
Absolutely, yeah.
They have very little in the line of alternative therapies. They don't even have access to medical for most of the time. So just imagine the implications for people in isolated places. If we could get our minds around the fact that we don't have to be physically present.
What modalities lend themselves best to distance healing?
Well, I mentioned Reiki, Rahani, which is a form of angelic healing.
And I think Susan Goodman, I talked to Susan as well, and she does
some kind of
angelic healing as well, yeah?
Yeah, I should know that.
Yeah.
I said Reiki, Rahani, Bowen, which, is not the normal way to deliver the therapy.
When you talk about Bowen, what symptoms would someone display if, and you would say Bowen will help there?
Bowen is so effective in so many areas that I almost feel like a snake oil salesman, because the first thing it does is affects your autonomic nervous system, meaning it can take you out of fight or flight and put you into rest, relax, and repair right off the bat. I always have people say, oh my God, I feel so relaxed. And I've asked people after distance sessions, okay, but does it feel any different than it would if you lay down and had a nap? And they say, oh yeah, there's a big difference. So it can be mobility issues. Anybody who's, you've got an injury, a sports injury, somebody with sore hips, a sore neck, digestive issues. Sometimes, because it's fascial release, the fascia runs from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. So if there's a problem with the fascia in between those 2 points, it could affect your breathing. It could affect your digestion. It can affect cause gynecological issues. Headaches, and it just makes you feel good.
We've often heard the term, you need to learn how to push the pause button.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know how to push the pause button, but when they somehow figure out how to do it, then they got to figure out what do you do when you push the pause button. So all of these modalities basically help you in training yourself in what to do when you push that pause button.
Yes. Yeah, because we're all running around like rats on a carousel.
That fight or flight syndrome, constantly.
And it's encouraged to be busy. So it's really hard to stop. And when you find somebody who can help you do that, you are doing your body so much good. It brings down your blood pressure. It helps, it helps everything to be able to, and a lot of practitioners have little tools that they'll give clients. I always talk to them about different breathing techniques, or You know, that's not something I need to be in their presence to do. And so that they have control, because I'm not healing somebody. I'm helping them heal themselves. And that's where the power is.
There's I get a lot of people in my hypnotherapy business reluctant because they don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll always say to people, you don't have to believe.
No.
You really don't have to believe. You just have to be open to the possibility that what you're about to do could change your life.
Yes.
So it's not about believing, it's about opening your mind.
Yeah.
And allowing people like yourself and other people who live in our community to give you a better life.
Exactly. People are there to help. And if you look them up, if you explore what's out there, and give things a try. You know, if you try something, maybe it is for you, maybe it's not for you.
Because I always say there's an answer out there. Every problem there's an answer to it. And just because you haven't found the answer doesn't mean one doesn't exist. It just means you are not looking in the right place, or you haven't talked to the right person.
Precisely.
Because every single person can solve, as long as they believe that there's an answer out there. So they're not hopeless.
Yeah.
They're helpless.
Yeah.
Helpless just means you haven't found the answer. The problem with helpless is if you stay in that mode too long, then you become hopeless and then you basically give up. And that's what we don't want people to do, is to give up on life, is to think that, well, this is what I've been dealt, and this is what I had to live with.
Yeah.
Even if a doctor tells you there's nothing else I can do for you, well, that only means that there's nothing else he can do for you, or she can do for you, but that doesn't mean that somebody else can't do something for you.
Well, and that's exactly how I got on this path, because a specialist had said to me there was nothing she could do for me. And I did manage to go back and see her again, and I told her the effect her words had had on me was to go look somewhere else. But I said, it might have left me in a state where I thought that I couldn't get healed. So, you know, we had a real frank conversation about that, and she said, that's not what I meant. I meant I couldn't help you with my skills. but you know.
Right. I had a young guy, well, he was probably in his mid-30s, and depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and he asked me, would hypnotherapy be able to help him? Because he said his doctor told him that he will be on medication for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And that's what I said to him. I said, well, that's only what he knows. I said, I'm telling you right now, you don't have to be on medication for the rest of your life. There are other ways of dealing with this. And he started to cry.
Yes.
And he said, boy, that's something that I really needed to hear. And it's not that, we just want people to open up, to be open to that possibility. They could benefit so much.
Like with Bowen, I do offer a free taster for Distance Bowen. I haven't had very many people take me up on it yet, and I've had it out there for months.
That's just a mindset, Joan.
Yeah.
That's what we need to try and figure out. How can we get people out of that mindset of kind of giving up?
But those who have taken me up on it, like a lady who works in the Middle East, and she's confined to her condo, but she still had to work. So like a ton of other people, she's developed problems with her lower back and hips and everything else. And I worked on her and with her, and her tailbone was the problem. And she was saying afterwards that she felt a whole lot better. So, and another lady who had an injury from her dog jumping up and hitting her under the chin when she was bent over and developed a concussion. And she couldn't go anywhere. It was right in the middle of COVID. I was doing all this. And she got relief so that she could actually get out of bed. She could do some things. And I haven't heard back from her, but it was a huge difference. She had been 2 months totally incapacitated and in pain.
Neuro-linguistic programming teaches us that if one person can do something, everybody can do the same thing.
Yep.
So the only really thing that's holding back people from having a better life is that they're just saying no.
Yeah.
They're just saying, no, that's not for me. But you've given so many examples of distance healing. What modalities, or what are the advantages of distance healing over face-to-face?
Okay, so right now the biggest advantage is that people are fearful of going to, leaving their homes or going to places of business. You don't have to. You can talk to the practitioner over the phone. You can do Zoom. With the distance bowing, I'll phone someone, say, okay, go lie down, and I'll get on with it, and then I phone them after I'm done. The other thing is, it's kind of uncanny, because it's almost like it's easier. I can focus right on the person. The physical is not there to get in the way, so I guess, I'm just working with the energy body. And there was one example where I thought I was working on the person for about an hour. I went into kind of a meditative state and connected with the person's energy body, and I was doing the moves, and I stopped because it was done, and I looked at my watch, and it was 12 minutes. That was one of my case studies. I thought definitely an hour. This has been going on and on and on. But it's like time is irrelevant. But and people got results a whole lot quicker, it seemed. So, I could be taken away from my income. But I don't really care about that. I want people to feel better.
The whole idea is to offer these different options to people and to put it out there to let people know that here's the studies, here's what's happened.
Yeah.
So if this person can benefit, then every single person can benefit. And I keep coming back, and I'm like a broken record. It's just to open your mind to the possibility that this is something that could really change your life.
Yeah, I'm totally fascinated with it, because, like I said, I come from a little tiny place, and I know that there's nothing out there. There's nobody out there doing Reiki or anything like that. So people have to drive 2 hours or whatever they have to drive to find a practitioner, and they have to know about the practitioner in the first place. So if somebody can trust that it might work for them and to try it, I mean, it's like the samples up at Costco. You don't buy the big bag of nuggets. Usually what happens is they got the nuggets cooked there, and you taste it and you go, oh my God, those nuggets are so good, I'm going to try the whole bag.
Exactly.
So why not give it a shot?
And we're almost out of time. Joan, your information, your website, your phone number, and everything are on display here now as people listen to what's fascinating about your work and your lifelong work after you decided to change from being a teacher. I guess to finish off, what can you say right now to people right now that they can use today that can make their life better?
Look around. You can go to healingnl.com, where there are some 50 practitioners listed. They're all people here in the province who can help you, and just click on the different modalities, see what's there. Ask people if they do distance work. Ask people if they're seeing people right now, because lots of us are receiving clients right now, and we kind of need to develop a bag of tools to deal with what's going to come up if and when a second wave comes, and to know that there's support there for you. You don't have to sit home a ball of anxiety. I was anxious over people being anxious.
Yeah, sure.
So, I had to kind of look at myself and go, okay, let's listen to your own story here now and do what I tell other people to do.
Joan, fascinating. Thanks for taking the time. And again, everybody, have a look at Joan's contact information and reach out. And you never know, it could be the best decision you ever made in your life. Thanks.
Thank you, Gary. I'm really passionate about this and excited that even if one person were to try it, it might help them get through this year.
Absolutely. Nice talking to you.
Thanks. Nice talking to you.